I still remember the first time we pointed our scanners toward Earth and regretted it almost immediately, not because it looked dangerous. No, it looked ridiculous. A blue sphere, too much water, erratic weather, primitive satellites buzzing around like confused insects, and the dominant species, humans, loud, divided, constantly argue with themselves on open transmissions. We laughed. Yes, the Kara Collective, an interstellar authority that had subdued 9 civilizations, laughed at Earth. Commander Vale actually choked on his own breath sac. These are the ones refusing compliance, he said, clicking his mandibles in disbelief. I was stationed at Communications Array 7, translating human signals. Yes, Commander. They declined integration, accord 3 times. He blinked, slowly. They declined us? Someone in the background muttered, maybe they didn't understand the message. Oh! They understood it perfectly. We had sent them a clear warning. Simple terms. Join the collective. Surrender autonomy. Receive protection, advanced technology, and guaranteed survival. Standard offer. Their reply? Send snacks next time. At first, we assumed it was a mistranslation. It wasn't. That was when the laughter turned curious. We monitored them more closely after that. Humans were strange. They fought among themselves constantly, yet when faced with external threats, they paused. Not unified, not exactly, but aligned enough to become unpredictable. Unpredictable species are inconvenient. So, the High Council issued a final warning. I personally transmitted it. Earth, this is your final notice. Comply within 1 rotation cycle or face termination of planetary function. Clean, direct, final. We expected panic. We expected surrender. We expected anything except what we received. The reply came exactly 12 of their hours later. No delay, no hesitation. A single transmission, audio only. Commander Vale ordered it played in the main chamber. We gathered, officers, analysts, tactical minds, all expecting desperation. The recording started. A human voice, calm, slightly amused. Hey, yeah, we got your message. A pause. Quick question. You guys ever heard of bad ideas? Some of the officers shifted, confused. The voice continued. Because threatening Earth, that's a pretty big one. Commander Vale scoffed. Arrogance. Typical. But I felt something else. The tone wasn't arrogance. It was warning. The voice went on. You see, we've had worse neighbors than you. Trust me, we've tried to wipe ourselves out more times than you believe. Didn't work. A few quiet chuckles echoed in the chamber. Nervous ones. The human continued. So here's our answer. No, just that. No speeches. No negotiation. Just no. Commander Vale slammed his appendage against the console. Prepare invasion fleet. But the transmission wasn't finished. Also, since you seem curious, we're sending you a little demonstration. The audio cut. Silence. Then chaos. Demonstration, one analyst said. What does that mean? Before anyone could respond, alarms screamed across the ship. Red lights flooded the chamber. Commander, I shouted. Unknown signal entering system. Origin, he barked. I checked the data, then checked again. My throat tightened. Earth. The signal wasn't large. Not a weapon. Not a fleet. It was a packet. A data packet. Commander Vale sneered. They're sending information? That's their demonstration? Should we isolate it? I asked. He hesitated. Just for a moment. That moment changed everything. Open it, he ordered. I obeyed. Worst decision of my existence. The moment the packet unfolded, every system on our ship flickered. Not shut down. Not destroyed. Adjusted. Rewritten. Our displays changed language. Our navigation shifted coordinates. Our targeting systems began pointing at each other. What is happening? Vale roared. It's not an attack. I said, panic rising. It's code. Adaptive self-learning. It's rewriting our infrastructure. Ships across the fleet started reporting the same. Communications flooded with overlapping voices. We've lost weapons control. Engines are responding to unknown commands. My console is laughing? Why is it laughing? Yes, laughing. A sound file embedded in the code, repeating human laughter, loud, mocking, uncomfortable. Commander Vale turned to me. Shut it down. I'm trying. My limbs shook as I attempted manual override. It's evolving faster than we can counter. Screens across the chamber suddenly synchronized. A single message appeared. White text, black background. Simple. Still think this is a good idea? No signature. No threat. Just that. The laughter grew louder. Then everything stopped. Systems returned to normal. Weapons reset. Navigation stabilized. Silence. Complete silence. No damage. No casualties. Just humiliation. Commander Vale stood frozen, his mandibles barely moving. What was that? Someone whispered. I swallowed hard. That was a warning. For the first time since I had known him, Commander Vale looked uncertain. We are the Kara Collective, he said slowly. We do not get warned. I stared at the data logs, still processing what had happened. No, I said quietly, but we just were. And then another transmission arrived from Earth. Short, casual, terrifying. Next one won't be a demo. Silence does not exist in space. Not truly. There's always something. Engines humming, signals whispering, distant stars crackling with radiation. But after that message from Earth, it felt like the entire galaxy held its breath. Next one won't be a demo. Those words didn't echo, they settled. Commander Vale stood unmoving, staring at the main display as if it personally insulted his ancestors, which, knowing humans, was probably next on their list. No species speaks to us like that, he finally said, his voice low, controlled, but strained. I didn't answer, because technically one just did. Fleet channels buzz again, but this time the tone was different. Less panic, more unease. We should proceed with the invasion, one officer insisted. Their weapon caused no permanent damage. No permanent damage? Another snapped. They accessed every system simultaneously. That's not a weapon, that's control. Control. That word spread quickly, because every commander in our fleet understood what it meant. If they could do that once, they could do it again. And next time, maybe they wouldn't give our systems back. Commander Vale turned toward me. Analysis. Now. I pulled up the logs. My limbs still didn't feel steady, but I forced precision into my voice. The code they sent, it wasn't just advanced. It was playful. Playful? Vale repeated, as if the word itself offended him. Yes, I said. It adapted in real time, but also hesitated. Hesitated. It avoided critical damage points. It could have disabled life support. It didn't. It could have triggered weapon discharge. It didn't. A pause. They were holding back. That statement landed harder than any explosion. Someone behind me whispered, "Why?" I answered before thinking. To make a point. Commander Vale's posture stiffened. We are not a species that is taught lessons. No, I said quietly, but we just were. That shut the room down. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then, as if the universe itself enjoyed terrible timing, another signal appeared. Incoming. From Earth. Again, every head turned toward me. Play it. Vale ordered. Of course he did, because at this point, curiosity had officially replaced caution. A dangerous swap. The audio activated. A different voice this time. Younger. Sharper. Almost cheerful. Hey again. That first one got your attention, right? No one moved. We figured it might. So, quick update. A faint sound in the background, like multiple humans talking at once. Laughing. Arguing. Someone said, "Don't say it like that, man." Another replied, "Relax, it's fine." Then the speaker returned. "Here's the thing. You scanned us. You saw a divided planet. Wars. Conflicts. Messy stuff." A pause. "Yeah, that part's real." Commander Vale scoffed quietly. "At least they admit weakness." I didn't share his confidence. The human continued. But what you didn't understand is we argue because we can. We fight because we choose to. And when something shows up and says, hey, surrender or else, the tone shifted. Not louder, not angrier, just colder. We stopped arguing. Every officer in that chamber felt it. Even Vale. The voice went on. You thought we were disorganized. That's fair. We kind of are. But when we line up, when we actually agree on something, another pause. This one longer. Yeah, that's usually when things get bad for whoever's on the other side. I noticed my claws tightening against the console. Not from fear, from realization. The human continued, almost casually. That little demo, that was one group, one country. Honestly, not even our best. A ripple of disbelief moved through the chamber. That was limited, someone whispered. The voice kept going. We've got others working on different stuff. Some of it's defensive. Some of it's, well, let's just say you don't want to see it. Commander Vale stepped forward. Empty threats. But his voice lacked conviction. Then the human laughed. Not loud, not mocking, just confident. Look, we're not trying to start anything. You came to us. You made the threat. We responded. Another brief pause. So here's the deal. You leave. We go back to arguing about pointless things. Everyone's happy. And if we don't, Vale muttered under his breath. As if answering him directly, the human spoke again. If you don't. Silence. Then softly, we stop holding back. The transmission ended. No dramatic music. No final words. Just that. The chamber felt smaller somehow. Commander Vale turned slowly, scanning every officer, every analyst, searching for certainty. He found none. Finally, he looked at me. For the first time since contact, he said, I require your personal assessment, not protocol, not doctrine, your judgment. I hesitated, not because I didn't have an answer, because I did, and I knew he wouldn't like it. We leave, I said. The word felt heavy, unacceptable, necessary. We leave, one officer snapped. Because of a signal and some clever code? I turned toward him. No, I said, because of restraint. That confused him more than anything else. I continued. They had access to everything. They chose not to destroy us. Twice. That means they're not desperate and they're not reckless. Commander Vale narrowed his eyes. And your conclusion? My voice dropped. They're confident. Silence again. But this time, it wasn't empty. It was full of understanding. Commander Vale exhaled slowly. A long, control breath. Then he gave the order. All fleets withdraw from Earth system. No one argued. No one questioned. Because deep down, every single one of US knew we hadn't just been warned. We had been measured and found lacking. As our ships turned away from that small blue planet, one final message appeared on the outer comm channel. No audio this time. Just text. Simple. Clean. Good choice. I stared at it for a long moment. Then I closed the channel. And for the first time in my career, I was relieved to be leaving a world behind, especially one that smiled while holding back its claws.